Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's episode of The Plight of Princes. Smaller crew tonight because we are not using our beloveds of the Bebe crew, which is, nearly level 10, but the Bebe crew. We're instead using the Defenders of Faerun because the mad motherfuckers on the other side of the totem pole managed to free them from being trapped in a looping spell by Vlakith and have left them to go and handle Duke Zalto, a giant lord from Storm King Thunder who had been killed at the climax of that campaign and was resurrected using a Spire of Lakith. It had anchored itself to Zalto, and in doing so had infused him and reborn into an undead form did Zalto come. And a rampage then ensued across the areas just north and west of Imrit's lair. However, the defenders of Faerun, always down to clown once they realized they were free, picked a fight and resolved the matter with Duke Zalto. As Ashk, Korriban, and Glory, Korriban, potentially? Not sure, did you take the name? We'll see. Do you have your last name? Finish on top Zalto's body, the hammer driven through and dealt through on the blow. Varus, you are off to the side, holding the spire basically in a, I believe you had it in a resilient sphere.
Resilient sphere, yep.
Yep. Okay. For the sake of this, we're not going to pull up the map because there's pretty much no combat going on. There's no engagement, but this is where we are right now. You're all in varying states of battered or injured after your fight with Zalto, and the ash that was coating this area that was like this heavy plumed, raised up sulfuric smell is beginning to die down. But there is, if not for the fact that you were in the middle of winter and everything here was heavily cold or already very, very waterlogged, literally in some of these cases, a lot more of these forests would probably have begun to catch a light. But thankfully, you don't have to deal with the forest fire. So, Defenders of Faerun. God, I miss saying that. What would you like to do?
I still feel that the Spire's out to get me, right?
Let me in.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Go on.
Do we already feel that something is up with Varys? Because before the fight even started, Kirak telepathic linked everybody.
Yes. You can all... Like how if someone is having a conversation with someone very close to each other in a quiet room, everyone else in the room can somewhat hear one side of it. You can hear Varys's thoughts, Varys's emotions in this. So, Varys, how do you feel in this moment or your thoughts in this moment flashing that your party would perceive?
A little worried, but at the same time, like, it's under control. Controlled worry.
Valorant, an autobiography.
Okay.
That makes no sense, I know.
What you guys hear through, just like on the vague, like in like a whispered hush, but Varys, for you, it's like it's trying to push into your skull. You can just hear. Agree. Please. Let me in.
That's not going to happen. We should destroy this thing.
That's what I was going to say.
Where do you want me to strike first?
I don't think... is that going to work? Legacy, is that going to work?
We literally watched them do this less than an hour ago. Less than 20 minutes ago.
For them. For
Yeah.
us, it was 2 months.
Crazy.
A monk, yeah.
Legacy dispel magic there, right, or something? Or did she disintegrate?
It was
So
a
make an anti-magic donut.
yeah. It was a sequence of anti-magic, disintegration, and dispelling.
That was to stop it from spreading, right? But to actually physically
The
destroy
anti-magic
it,
was
it's...
to basically
prevent
like
the explosion, basically.
Yeah, like to detonate a bomb, basically, put in a case where it will not damage anything around it and let it go off in there with the disintegration. But it was drained heavily of its energies in order to ensure that it would safely go off, so that it wouldn't, say, break through the anti-magic and otherwise. But Roman, you keep raising your hand. What's up?
You had kicked it into the river, right?
It is currently...
Ball.
It's sort of just in the river, but it's in an orb.
Yes.
It's a
And is
resilience
it-
sphere.
I was gonna say, is it going down the river, or is it?
Slowly.
Okay,
But, like, Varus is
I'm gonna
next to it,
summon my grasping tentacle and grab it
Mhm.
and
Like it kind
leave
of
it
like
to.
wraps up like a snake,
Yeah.
like the inverse of a snake's coil, like where the bottom of it would be like the layer and layer and layer and layer of it is that, but like as a cup for it.
Right. Because tentacles are deep. Or actually, well, that's gonna be. I'm gonna be summoning that with Big B's hand. That's all you made.
What's that gif?
Best way to destroy it.
Positively.
Wait, Big B's hand's only a minute concentration?
Yeah,
That's all you need.
Holy shit.
it's big. That's 10 turns of having something that's your own health.
Oh, yeah,
kit
true.
punching someone.
More than your
Right.
health.
Or it's your int. Okay. The more you know. Gotta
Well,
tell what
it is
spells
if
I'm
you're-
gonna use.
If your spellcasting modifier is a higher stat than your con,
Ah,
which most are.
yeah. I wouldn't know anything about that.
No, neither would I.
That was the thing, right? This thing didn't. Well, no, we saw that Zalto wasn't taking any psychic damage.
Correct. And it's probably reasonable to assume.
Assume that it's because of the Spire. Okay,
Well,
never
the
mind.
Spire also wouldn't take psychic damage.
Well, it's
Yeah.
because he was undead, so he wasn't undead.
also undead.
Normally a little resilient psychic.
Yeah.
Well, the quicker we do this, the better, because I can't hold this sphere forever.
Okay. I'm gonna pop up a detect magic to kind of try to analyze how charged up it is. Like if because Zolta was like resurrecting stuff left and right. Hopefully that might have actually drained it a little bit.
And also, Zalta was resurrected to
Himself, yeah.
practically a form of lichdom. So, give me a. What?
Would you want detect magic or identify?
I can do both.
Got to touch it to identify.
So probably
Yeah,
not
you do.
probably not identify to start with.
Unless you have empower or distance spell, you can use a
I
make it
thought that
touch
only-
it to 30.
Oh, okay, oh shit, I know that.
Yeah.
No, I don't have it.
Okay. If you want, make an Arcana check for me now while you're using Detect Magic. Which I don't mind saying to you because I know you've got a modifier in it.
I have a good modifier in it.
You have a very good modifier in it. You focus in. For you, Kirok, this is every single day. It's just instinct, reflex. Out it goes. You can see the residual effects of the magic of the fight. You can see the residual effects of necromancy fading from the entities. Like the only way I can describe it is if like fire that's smoldering around the edges after the center core that was burning has been pulled out for each of the bodies that are around. Zalto, it is the equivalent of a smoldering crater in the center of his chest, to the point where you have a feeling that things like evocation magics might actually be less effective right now around him, because it is the opposite of necromancy, where evocation is the bringing out of energy, and is all most forms of healing are in a form of evocation. The opposite of that is necromancy, to drain it in. The orb itself is still one of the most, if not probably very, very close to the top of the most necromantically charged things you've ever seen. You can imagine it was probably at a higher point, given partially that where it was found by Immert's lair, a place of a great battle where the energy would eventually latently build in necromancy, but also over time it seems to have siphoned more and more and more. It's still very dangerous. You would not be able to tell from just a detect magic of this distance how much is in it right now.
Okay.
But like, you're not able to, like, say, move it or anything else, but like a bottle of water where you cannot tell the quantity in it, like it's covered up so you can't tell what the level it is in it, you can still, like, just by the energy of the density in it, tell it's very heavy. But for us, that would be the equivalent of lifting it to know it's heavy. But you, from a distance, can tell it's thick, it's heavy.
Okay, so it's probably still gonna have a lot of energy stored in it. So destroying it and having all that energy come out is still not going to be a good idea. So it depends how long we want to spend to try and, recreate another anti-magic sphere of safety, if people want to do that, unless we want to try and teleport somewhere to go somewhere slightly safer, or if we want to be even more abrupt about it, we have the very simple option of just taking it as high as we physically can and then detonating it in the air where it will hit nothing.
It would hit whoever took it up in the air, though. I mean, I'm not the one to be chipping in on this conversation, but I feel like taking a long time to diffuse it is the best option that we have. Even if it takes a long time, detonating this thing seems unconscionable.
So the only way that we prior have experienced a way to drain it was by channeling the magical energy into something that could use this. In this case, it was a simulacrum. With necromantic, it's going to be harder unless it is something that literally just wants raw magic to fuel it. The question is finding something that is not necessarily volatile that will suitably convert this energy into a fuel source.
Do we remember, sorry, my brain is not here, if things like, because I know there were like things in the world we had thought about diffusing this with, like Forge of Spells and stuff, would we still have to drain it to do that, or was it implied that by using this more established thing, it was safer to destroy it while it was full? Or
Guys thought that those could be possibilities, but it was tested out within the demi-plane for the sake of safety of others. But things of a adamantite, because it's adamantite plus, like, there's more metal in there than just that kind of alloy. There's certainly something in there in addition, but things like the Forge of Spells for draining its magic, or one of the forges of dwarves where they have like very specific ancient forges, or a volcano, or an incredibly powerful dragon's breath weapon could probably punch a hole in it. But any one of these would probably require that to go, because
it would still need us to diffuse it first. It's just we have a couple different ways to destroy it once it's diffused. Also, just for keeping me honest, it's definitely been 3 rounds of combat since we started this conversation, isn't it?
Yes.
I regen.
Roman, how long can you hold that for?
I can hold for a minute, but that's question. Because I work on countless items of magical things and whatnot, and I have a rod of security that's kind of fucked up and kind of needs some fixing. Would I be able to take the magic out of that and fucking fix my rod up?
Why did you do that like you were putting whipped cream on top of a milkshake?
Because that's what
mixing Mixing
Yeah, you know,
Mixing
I'm
some
mixing
food
a,
better.
a staff up over here, you know.
Yeah, that's how you do magic, right? You just mix it in a bowl.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how Roman does magic.
The
Look,
resilient
I've
sphere
taken
is
too
probably
many
gone by
drugs.
now.
The defenders of Faerun, ladies and gentlemen, they killed Imrith.
Guys,
Taste of green.
Guys, disclosure: the resilient sphere is probably gone. Okay, I did last a minute.
And as it goes, the spire is there and it just begins floating.
If someone has to hold this thing, it should be me, right?
No, maybe. Maybe.
I mean,
How
can,
long-
you, can
I'm
either
gonna-
of you two mage hand? Because mage hand is a cantrip that we can keep for free.
But
Yeah. But there's something else I want to do, but it will take me 20 minutes. So if someone can hold on to it for 20 minutes.
I
Oh, I can cast floating disc to at least keep it out of the water so it's not drifting away.
It is
And
floating.
It's floating right now.
Over the place that the tentacle Roman. So it begins floating, and I need Faris,
Hmm?
Roman, and actually also Legacy to give me a dex check. So I'm gonna roll for Legacy.
Dex check or dex save?
Save actually, and you definitely have
Yeah,
Ash around
Ash.
you.
Yeah, I was gonna say you get Ash.
You have a
okay, so that's a +4.
With Ash, I believe it is a +4 because she's a fucking asshole.
Okay. And
I remember your kit better than mine, Frog.
crap, I can't
You
remember.
know your wife.
I know
Because
Ash's
that's
attack
forever
modifier,
since
but
I've
not how many
played, and
attacks I
never
have
know.
per turn.
Ooh.
Is this a? Oh no, this is never mind. I will shut up. 2d6. Yeah. 24.
Okay. So out of the three of you, Varus rolls the lowest and rolls under the DC, but so does Legacy. So I was supposed to see who would be the targets. So, okay, roll me a d20, and I'm gonna roll one for Legacy as well.
Oh, that was GM, but it was a 20.
No, I can see it.
17,
Yeah,
sorry.
Hey,
Yeah.
is my tentacle not able to hold on to it?
You basically like held underneath the bottom of it. You haven't commanded it to wrap around it.
Well, as soon as I see the sphere, I should have said that. That whenever the sphere was going, that I was going to do that.
Okay.
Out
You
of
know
pride.
it. You know when it's gonna go because teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have known from him. So I will say this. Actually, I will let you do that if. Give me. Let's see if you could beat it on an initiative check. Because the Spire is definitely going to try.
The
And I'm
13.
going to roll this. No. Okay. The Spire begins to move, and you can just see Roman.
That's fine.
To
Oh.
narrate, it begins trying to move, and you can see it floats up, and it's beginning to like almost like a floating magnetizing towards a certain location. It just aims straight towards where Varus and Legacy are, and is about to seemingly jettison itself to it, and the tentacle wraps. But the tentacle is anchored to the ground, and it goes 10 foot. Like the tentacle goes taut, wrapped at the tip, as it's trying to go towards either Legacy or Varus.
All right. Then
Like a
I
dog
will,
held on a leash.
because I have. Let's see. Because I used one during the fight. I have 6 minutes to do this. Because I can continuously cast and summon my tentacle.
I'm gonna stand not near it, but nearer it, between it and the high spellcasters, because
Hoping
it
to-
seems that it's attracting to wells of magic, and I am whatever the opposite of that is. So I'm gonna just be ready to. I'm basically gonna hold an action to grab
try
it if
and-
it
Yeah.
goes.
Okay.
No, you go, Varys. Sorry.
I'm gonna. I'm literally just gonna fuck off. Basically, is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna.
It's about time.
I'm gonna D-door 100 foot away.
You do door 100
I'm gonna
foot
start
away.
ritual casting. Well, no, I don't have to ritual cast it. I do because I don't actually have it active. I'm gonna start ritual casting Punch Familiar.
Okay. You call upon Fenacala.
It will not be Fanakana. It will be my new kitten.
Oh, Bippy.
Yeah, Des, would I
Unnamed
be
kitten.
able to would I be able to drain magic from it to put into the rod of security, or
I'm gonna say make an Arcana check to think about it.
that's fine.
Like, you know when you have the idea and you're like, oh, I found the worst possible idea.
21.
And that's the idea you should say. It's probably gonna happen.
I was going to say I could use a channel divinity to summon Ashka's vines if you need an additional restraining.
Interestingly, it is an item, not a creature, and I believe the vines restrain creature. But this is, if you want to, I'll say that basically it's going to make it more difficult for this thing to try to break away. If you want to, like its DC to escape will be higher.
Yeah, I'm saying it more for Narrowin's benefit, depending on what.
So, just to say to you anyway, Narrowin, with that check, you feel like it would be possible, but you've done the equivalent of it, but that's like saying you've wired a circuit compared to you've turned on a power plant. Not in that you don't have the ability to it, but you need to have the setup, you need to have your tools, you believe it could be possible to do it, but the amount that's in this would probably fill something up relatively quickly, and you'd need multiple things to fill into it. But you look like you had a manic mad bastard idea, so I'm not going to interrupt you. What's your plan, my gamer?
Well, no, I just happened to think about it. I have a ring of spell storing.
It would probably max that out in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Various will think to the group 100 foot away. Give me like 10 minutes and we'll see what's inside this thing.
Sounds like a terrible idea. Okay.
All right.
I can see those back up towards more like to the backer of the party of you guys, looking like she's ready to out if she needs to, but she doesn't want to leave where you guys and where Glory is too alone with this thing. Do you want to try, Roman, and store a spell? How many spells can you store?
I can store up to one. I basically can store up to 5 spell levels. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we've got to identify this thing to work out exactly how many spell
because
levels are in this.
it could be chock full of 9 level spells, and one comes out and it's just going to hit you. It's not going to go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
and the spells that are in here will kill. They're not going to be resurrectable. They're going to
yeah. This is
interestingly, it does have one spell in it, which is like True Resurrection in the Necromancy list. So
it's the awful Russian roulette of spires.
Yeah.
It's the only reason Varius doesn't want to take it away and just destroy it himself up in the sky now.
Yeah.
Even though he's got like Death Ward, so he'll come back.
Death Ward, like Clo, and it's
like I don't know if Death Ward will work. Which is why I don't want to do it.
It's like saying, don't worry, guys, I've got a bulletproof vest. I could take a shotgun blast point blank.
And then being hit by a mortar shell. This is the one we don't fuck around with, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll take 10 minutes to.
Which means we don't do the dumb thing that I thought of.
You're gonna have to hold off on that for a bit because it's gonna take time and stuff.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna come back and use my familiar to touch it, and then identify through the familiar.
Doesn't Kirok have about 85 familiar statues?
Yes.
I just saw her swap over.
Yes.
I can only identify through my familiar.
I can identify through my familiar. I forgot that I also had Find Familiar.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Let's expedite this.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but I don't want to give this thing an hour's worth
No,
of turns to make escape rolls.
If Kirok can just do it now,
Yeah,
then and identify it now.
Kirok has a familiar, but she doesn't really use it like Varys does. It is literally more just a companion to her, so like she gets it out and just sort of looks after it, so it doesn't get obliterated in combat very often.
Yeah.
Oh, well, today's the day.
So yeah, Fune is here, and
I'll come back.
Yeah,
Then.
Fune. I forgot all about Fune.
They've all got names. So yeah,
I remember the name. I just forgot
so
that's what it was.
Fune is here, and through Fune, Kirok can cast Identify on it.
I'm going to cast Protection from Good and Evil on the familiar.
Very interesting. So good news,
Fune's
guys.
about to get obliterated.
I was about to say I can cast it on Kirok. That's the wrong character.
I love you.
Posey could do that. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm back like 40 foot away.
What I was going to say was basically, interestingly enough as well, I will say this for the magic-y folk here, when Ashk is nearby it, it's almost like the normal dampening effect she has on magic around her seems to be, along with the vines and the tendril holding it, it seems like it's making this difficult for it, which is why that was a 1 and not a natural 20.
There's only 2 numbers.
I'm rolling plenty of 4s and 5s, I assure you. So, who wants to try
the
what?
The paladin, she said no.
The paladin would no.
So
we're identifying it.
Yeah,
Okay.
identify.
Okay. So you let your bird fly over, onto it, cast Identify. Through the
Contains 1 first level spell.
It has 20 spell slots worth of spells.
Can we assume it fills to the highest possible spell slot?
It seems like it goes for what it can most discharge.
So it's got at least 2 ninth levels in it.
3.
Yeah.
3.
No.
I can't do mathematics.
No, 2.
No, 2. I was correct.
It is
I failed math.
Maths in my
Okay,
D&D
so
game.
it has 2 ninth levels in it.
And a 2nd level.
And a 2nd level.
I'm resisting the temptation to look up 9th level necromancy. So it's
Yeah,
getting...
I was about to.
I mean,
watch that happen.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
I feel like I
I'm gonna be honest
know
for you,
about
Kay.
the wizard spells.
You would know about the spells that would be counted as wizard spells. So
If they
I
were
was gonna
wizard
say-
spells, yeah.
I'm saying he's literally
Kay
going
could
to look it
probably
up in his
actually
book
do it.
that he physically
Yeah.
has.
I'm just gonna look up 9th level wizard spells specifically. I don't feel.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna look up Warlock because I'm pretty sure one of them in Warlock is Necromancy at 9th level that I would have had that I could have possibly have taken.
Oh, only 1 9th level necromancy spell. It's not good.
Sad, isn't it?
2. There's 2.
On the wizard spell
There's
list.
one
On the wizard spell
list.
The only
Isn't
one on the
one of
wizard
them on
spell
the
list.
druid spell list?
Maybe. I don't know about that.
That's
The
made
only,
a
one
face.
the only one on the wizard spell list is from Wildbound. It's Time Ravage.
So bad.
So it
Time
would
Ravage is so bad.
it would make you age
Okay,
a lot.
no, that's
30 days until your death is what you would age to. There is True Resurrection. There is Time Ravage.
Yeah, True Resurrection's the other one. That is on the druid spell list, isn't it? Was I right?
I believe True Resurrection.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah,
I
Druid's
do
still
know
there.
things.
I do not have.
Astral Projection as well, so be aware. That's there too.
Okay, so I would know that. Okay.
Yeah, you would know Astral Projection is there.
So it really is a Russian roulette.
It's like, are you
There's
going
one
to
really
her?
bad
Are you
one.
dying? Or...
True Resurrection on something that isn't dead.
Astral
Would have
projection
no effect,
evocation.
technically.
would have no effect.
It doesn't clone.
No.
Okay, good.
No, she had astral projection.
Yeah, that's
It's an
Warlock.
evocation. It's an evocation spell.
Oh, is it?
No, it's not.
Under this, Astral Projection is Necromancy.
Oh, then this wiki I'm looking at is incorrect.
It
There we
is.
go.
Like,
I
Oh
can
yeah,
tell
when
you here.
on the table which is evocation, when I click on it,
Astral
it says.
Projection, Necromancy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
then I can't
necromancy.
trust this table.
Does astral
Which
projection do
astral
exactly what it says on the
projection is
tin, or does it do
you
damage?
and up to 8 willing creatures.
We would go on a little trip, huh?
Yeah, astral projection is literally going to the astral plane, because necromancy is like the manipulation of life energy, and sending your spirit to the astral plane
would literally
is
be
literally your spirit energy, so that's what it falls under.
It would literally be nothing happens, you die, or you put yourself and everyone else in a position where they're probably gonna be captured or killed imminently. Is the roulette that we would have every time.
One of these options doesn't kill you. One of these options just says, make this save. If you fail it, you go up to 30 days before you die. Your character has 30 days to live.
Yeah, you die, but just
imminently. 30 days. You're fine.
Don't freaking Weeping Angel this, where they freaking live you to death. The end result is the same.
Blue, what's the Pokemon move?
Be more specific. Which one?
It kills you 3 times.
Death Song, Perish Song.
Perish Song, thank you. It's Perish Song. It's Perish Song, Splash, and I don't know, something else.
Teleport.
There we go. But we have to defuse it because we don't want time ravage.
If it's astral plane and it hits just me, it's fine.
We cannot be
astral projection. I can get back.
We are not doing this conversation where we try and work out
We're not,
if it's actually okay
it's
to set
not
it off.
worth the risk of the 1 in 3.
We can do this.
No.
Right, look,
the problem also lies in that. The problem also lies in that this is not 1 dice roll. This is at least 2. And
at least 2.
It could very well do that. You are right. It could go for one of these 3, but it could also look at 8th level effects.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
Yeah, it might do 2 9th levels, but it could do 2 8th levels.
It could also cast something at a lower level at 9th level.
It could do Abizalum's horrid wilting, which would be very bad.
I don't know what that does.
It's
looking
bad.
Yeah. This is not the time to just be looking up every necromancy spell.
No,
I have a list here. There's a reason I'm saying these words to you guys.
Right.
Yeah. There is no world in which we can
We've got to
safely
drain it
send
somehow.
Off. We have to drain it.
So we need to be listing off how we are draining it.
Go on, Darren.
The thing of it is how much damage does this thing usually take? Or like how much did we have to do to actually break it?
Disintegrate.
Was it disintegrate or did we? Was it?
It was a
disintegrate.
So that's.
Has Legacy got more?
I know Nemo sank
we have
in.
We have more than enough damage in this party to destroy it once it's empty.
Yes, we have to. We have to get it empty.
We have
to defuse it.
Yeah, she has a 9th, 8th, and 2
Legacy's got a decent amount of stuff. I remember from when I.
The only way to drain it is to actually something's got to touch it, right? To drain the spells out of it.
Well, something's got to pull from it at least, yeah.
Fuck.
Because we didn't have the simulacrum touched it, but.
No.
Let me do it.
No.
I can do it.
Tell me how you're going to do it first.
Think of the okay. So just touching it and fucking with my maid staff that can absorb spell levels.
You got enough room in there?
I can make enough room. I've got enough room to do 11 levels right now, but I can make as much room as I need. I'll just cast telekinesis.
Can you hold 9th level spell with that character?
It can absorb any spell that targets me.
So it would have to go off? Or
well,
would
no,
you try and drain
that's technically the spell,
works,
but I could try to drain it effectively, I guess.
Right, yeah.
But like, for example, I'll just fucking just do telekinesis.
Right now you could use telekinesis on the Spire and stop it from moving.
I don't know, I'll concentrate on it. I don't want to do that. I mean, I'll just cast telekinesis 3 times, boom. That's 15
boom, boom, boom.
out of it. That puts me down to 24. I've got enough spell slots in it to absorb.
I look at Legacy.
And then not only that, I have 5 levels that I can steal with the ring.
I look at Legacy. You've were part of the diffusing of the first one, do you think this sounds plausible, or do you think this sounds like a bad idea?
I'm glad you asked your mother to roll a natural 20.
Yes.
I'm stuck here. I'm surrounded by spellcasters and a magic spire, and I don't even know how to cast a spell. So yes, I'm gonna ask my mom.
Well, congratulations. She has a 33 on that now total. So, Archmage's Invocations. What the fuck do you think she's gonna do? She might only know how to do punch, but she knows how to catch punch really well. So, she's focusing on it. Looking towards you guys. As the spire's kind of like quivering in place, desperately trying to move out towards you guys. All the spell would go off at the same time. Meaning... Problem is that this would be the equivalent of several counter spells needing to go off.
Could they be countered?
Varus and Roman trying to absorb these spells would result in... They'd have to focus on them, but if a weaker spell comes out, and that's just the first one you react to, they could, by that logic, be countered, but the problem is that I don't know how difficult that's going to be. Most magic, as you know, it's just the spell being made and it's getting cut off as it's being prepared, it's being stopped as it's being produced. Once the spell is out there, unless it is being nullified by something, it is usually very, very, very dangerous.
So do you think... I don't fully understand what you and Kika did earlier, but
yeah, you see,
do you think that you would be able to do this within the anti-magic donut, or is this the kind of thing where that is not... This is too many components for this?
You would not be able to... I will say this, you would not be able to have them ready to drain it and have the anti-magic protection up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed. I'm like, that's too many components.
See, the way that you two sounds like you want to do it is by letting it go off and then letting it literally form a spell with this energy that it has in potential and then absorbing it. The way that we did it before was the simulacrum essentially absorbed this energy while it was still in potentia. No spells actually went off until it was destroyed. What we need to really do is to try to do that again. We need to take this potential magic energy before it can form into anything that is actually a spell, and then take it away.
Yes.
Because then we are non-lethally draining this magical energy, so that then the spell levels get down, so that when we actually trigger it, there are less lethal spells in it. That's what we've got to try to replicate. We need to replicate drawing the energy away non-lethally, not letting it form a spell slot. How can we replicate
how
that?
And where do we do that?
I think with your staff and with the spring and something I have as well, I believe we could potentially sink a lot of energy from this. It's just that the Spire at present seems to be agitated, that I would want it to be restrained more thoroughly than just the... At this point, you guys are recasting things to grip it again. I know you're at this kind of tier where you're just fucking pumping them out to just keep that motherfucker in place.
Hell, we can go 500 feet into the sky. We can go 500 feet under the ocean, if that's a safer place to do it.
I mean, that's what I'm
that's
thinking.
not the point. The point is that we're gonna need to hold it somehow.
Yes,
so we hold it,
but at the same time,
assumedly me, because I'm the only one who isn't arcanically charged.
I would almost sooner say Ashk.
Ashk, it's true. It doesn't like Ashk. That's true.
But at the same time,
I don't particularly like it. Glad we're on that level.
Object.
But yeah, at the same time, is there going to be a safer plane to do this on? Because we could just go somewhere else.
From what?
We risk attracting attention again.
Yeah, I'm just putting that option on the table.
Well, it might just be a good idea just to be further away. We could just go further away from civilization.
We go...
But even then, we're pretty far from civilization now, aren't we?
You are.
Yeah, we're in the middle.
This
Of
is
it.
about as safe as it gets. The question is this: is if we need all spellcasters on deck, arcane spellcasters on deck to deal with this, then it's gonna be me and probably Ashk. Hun, we're gonna need to work out how we're gonna hold on to this thing.
She looks worse than she has. I could try one thing I have. It's minor, but it's literally just a meat sack for this kind of purpose. And she like reaches in like underneath the armor into a pouch.
Anyway, carry on.
Yes, but one that she doesn't value compared to one she absolutely does. She's like holding something in her hand, and you can just see a bit of blood dripping off the side of her palm down, and she's kind of holding. Whispers into it, clenches down. You can just see more blood dripping, and she just lifts it.
I know why you didn't tell me what this was.
You can just see like a small bauble, but a bauble. It's weird. It's like an idol. It's like a doll, but it's made of flesh, and it just goes on the ground, and it just begins growing out. Gore and grime and blood kind of just erupt about the place near it, like maybe 5 feet about it. She's kind of like, everyone kind of gets out of the way of it. It's just what looks like an equivalent of a flesh golem. If a flesh golem was a meat golem. And she points straight at it. This is,
bag of meat.
This is a once-off kind of trick. Essentially, it will not absorb, but it will not soak in. It's like trying to get water away with a tap. Well, that won't work with the magic of this. This is more like rubber, where the water will wash off of it. If you need something to hold it, this is probably going to be it. It is made to be difficult to cooperate with these kind of things, but I'm never going to be able to use it again. This is a once-off.
Okay. So, okay.
What's the range on the worst thing this can do, Varys?
That's probably 100, 200 feet, maybe.
I'm gonna scout round. Actually, no, I need to stay here. We should scout round, though. Kika, can you do a flyover? Kika, fuck. God damn it. You did this to me.
Rock.
Yes.
Why did we decide that we were going to change back and forth?
Because I want you to suffer.
No, we did. Well, no, because you suffer most. You did this to yourself. Kirok, can you fly around, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
We've got my sensory stuff on.
Yeah, just do like a 100-foot radius round, just in case it does go off. There's nothing.
I'll say you and Tiyun can go around and do it. Give me a perception check. Whoever has the higher one can do it with advantage.
Let's have a look what the two have got. She has...
they
have the same modifier.
Cool. As they fly up, Lexi kind of looks towards you two and Varys and Roman, and she says, "You will have to physically touch it, I believe, to absorb, like with the staff or with the ring, to absorb into it, and then we move away, and I try to detonate it."
If it detonates and goes wrong, are you going to be okay?
Out of all of you, I'm probably the best to be fine with it. You'll have absorbed enough that
Any damage it does.
the things that could hit me, I've probably been hit by before. She looks about to you guys.
Real quick, I'm going to give the Rod the Packkeeper a shake and get another spell slot back.
Yeah.
Any of this conversation, would it constitute a short rest, or were we too active?
No, you are much too active.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna
Because what
chuck a potion.
If we can reduce it enough that it is only a 5th level spell coming out, then I can immediately counterspell it. Because I always cast at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just chuck the great healing potion.
Okay. So if you two want to try and do this, I need an Arcana check from both of you because this is not how these items work, but you are two of the most proficient spellcasters in the entire plane. It would be a disservice to you to not let you try.
This seems something I want to do before. I'm gonna Blade Song.
Just because it gives you bonuses,
It gives me a bonus to some checks, but it's better than nothing. So
Is Legacy at full health?
Very close to it.
Okay.
I'm gonna Blade Song for the next minute while we do this.
She's close to she's actually got less health than you do now total, but she's still probably
That's not hard.
Well, total your health is nearly 200, isn't it?
It's over 200.
Yeah, you have more health than your mom.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm a tank. She's a spellcaster.
How
much health does she currently have?
She avoided getting hit that fight like a bitch, so she's fine. She's at like 190.
Okay, that's fine.
If something could kill her, you have other issues.
Yeah, she's got more health than me currently.
I'm gonna bless myself as well with
Bless
my.
out.
Can you target 3 people with bless?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
3 creatures. I will bless
So
me.
be-
I'll bless Roman. I'll bless Legacy.
This point, as this has been going on,
until they tell me to leave. By the way, I'm still interposing with it.
cool. I appreciate. Thank you. While this is still going on,
Ashka is death glaring it.
Death glare the rod.
Same effect.
Yeah. Death glare the rod, hun.
Sorry.
Love you. God. As you're there, you can just hear, don't do this to me.
Ready?
Don't do this to me.
So that's what you got, kid. It's not a Arcana check, right?
Did Kirok see anything?
No, Kirok did not see anything.
Even if I've obviously got my various altered perceptions available.
I
could do a perception check with my eyes closed and I would still see more than most people.
I know you could.
You're seeing constantly, but how it is with the please put on your 3D glasses. But that's just how you see the world. Because you've got the normal world, the ethereal plane, the astral plane.
How many times do I have to tell you the sky has layers?
Nerwin, you wanted to say something?
No, bless me, not nothing. You're right.
Yeah, So okay, so 14 and 15.
14 and 15. You guys approach it.
I don't have.
And
I mean, I don't.
It's actually going to be a contestant here because it's going to try and resist you attempting to take away its magic.
There are no other numbers. Yep, there are no other numbers.
Okay, so you guys focus on draining this, and as you do, I want from K, I want 3d6, and from Roman, I want 1d6, please.
I have a random question.
I'll give you a random answer. Potato.
Because Ashka is technically death glaring this, whatever this thing is. Can Ashka do an intimidation check on the thing?
Would you like to intimidate the Spire of go on?
Well, because it's trying. It's technically trying to be very
active,
persuasive, and so
it's
on.
Misbehaving.
It sounds like it's trying to be persuasive and more like it's trying to be desperate.
Meanwhile, you have essentially the wild matron there going, "Oh, it's a thing of undeath? Let me at it. It's gonna die."
Yeah, you just sat in a corner going, "Let me at it.
Let me at it. Let me at it. Put me in.
Everyone else that's not involved is 100 foot back, right?
Yeah.
Did you tell me to?
No, you're holding it, so.
No, she's not. The
meat golem is.
Oh, the meat golem. Yeah, then everyone else get back before this.
This is like the guy from Super Meat Boy, but he does nothing but protein.
I'm gonna.
You sure you want me to back up?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to take a precaution as well and take off my necklace. And while Legacy's concentrating, just clip it around the neck. I want that back. After this,
You bitch.
it's a necklace of second chances. It will full HP death order if she dies.
Yep.
No attunement needed.
Yep.
Wow.
But how do I?
It
That's
does not
glare from very far away.
Literally does not surprise me even for a second.
No, how can I send this specifically to you, Han? Because I don't have my.
Oh, just send it, hon. Just send it out. You're fine. But if you want to do it, you'd whisper it to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that there's usually
Top of your character sheet, there'll be a
It'll
thing
be
that
under your
says
character
2 GM.
Yeah, that's the specific thing that I'm asking about. Is I cannot find that.
Okay, then you might know it
Then
turns
just
on.
roll,
So
honey. Just
clip on.
roll.
Sorry.
If you go to the settings, there's roll queries.
3,
Whisper roll to GM.
2, 1. Oh, that's low. Sorry.
Low is glaring at him.
It works.
I thought you meant like that was a low number.
No. No. Okay, 22 is a loyalty number.
You guys drain that magic away. As you are, you can just hear. It sounds like in the back of its mind, it's trying to scream. In the back of your heads, it's desperately trying to scream. The people who are at the distance away, you can vaguely hear it like it's someone screaming as if they're... I have no other words to say. It's been tortured. Sounds like it is in pain. It is screaming in pain. Like it is something or someone that is desperately being hurt. People close to it, which is Roman, Varys, and Legacy, I need concentration checks, so give me con saves from you guys.
Okay. That 3d6, is that how many levels we absorb out of it?
Potentially.
Just so I know how. Obviously, in character I don't know, but just so I know how many. Do I then gain those charges? Because if I absorb a spell, I gain those spell levels as charges.
That's a 27 plus. Fucking hell, she rolled a 30.
Constitution.
Also, this is the con save, which I have advantage.
Roman's used to the screams of the damned.
Yeah, this is a Tuesday.
You don't scare me!
Advantage for the Warcaster.
Yeah, if anybody is Warcaster, you get advantage on con checks.
And
yes,
I have a plus
if it's for holding concentration for spell.
Yeah.
Is this?
Which is what this is.
Yes, this is what this is. It's literally like it's a desperate attempt to break the concentration of whatever's controlling it right now.
That's plus a 5 from Blade Song, so that's 31.
Roll a d6.
Plus
Roll a
bless,
d6 just to show off.
32.
Okay, you somehow a 23 is the lowest roll out of the three of you.
20 is the lowest.
And I will say that Roman fails the DC if he didn't roll a natural 20, which counts as an automatic success for a save.
He's still blessed
as well. Sorry.
He's still blessed.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
But what I'm saying is that, except for the fact that he rolled a natural 20, this still would have been a failure.
Yeah, like 25 or 30, yeah.
But the other two keep their spells. You keep your spell because you roll natural 20, automatic success because it's the highest you can roll. Otherwise, what's the point of making people roll? That's kind of a dick move.
Yes.
So you guys hear it ringing in your head. Legacy is just deadpanned into it. Varys, you're there with like a bead of sweat. You're concentrating. Roman just has Sunny in Philadelphia in the back of the head, like, I'm spinning like a ballerina. Just unfazed.
Roman just on TikTok on his phone.
It's like Legacy and Varys are managing to push through by their sheer magic, whereas Roman is succeeding because he's not fucking paying attention.
Is Brennan at the back of the table?
Slammed against the fucking.
He's googling therapy in Los Angeles.
Hey, I was like looking some stuff up on the internet about the Spire. People have been having issues, real bad.
Watching the latest episode of Starstruck.
No, you know what's really happening here, guys? You know what's really happening here is that Legacy and Varys are there struggling, and there's Roman. Selfie. Okay. Important point in my story.
Assumed that Roman having a phone is canon. That was the non-debatable part of that joke. The rest of the joke that had to be debated was what specifically Roman was on it.
Stacey, you wanted to say something before
I was
get back on track.
I was just saying Ashka is just, as I said, just still death glaring.
From a distance. Damn it!
Well, I did roll a pretty good intimidation.
You rolled a pretty good number. You're just very far away. You're just small. Anyway, you guys are focused in on... God, back to this. You guys are focused in on it. As you are, you can just hear that, like, interior wail. Like, it's where essentially like the base of the stem of your brain would be. You could just feel right there on the inside. Just that shaking noise. But you are three of the most... Between Legacy, Varys, and Roman, you have two people who are or have been Archmages, and Roman, who went from worshipping Cthulhu to worshipping Storm King Hecaton, and stayed just as weird. The fact that you still worship Cthulhu is a wild thing to me. That is a past
and lived.
Yeah.
And resisted him. Anyway.
And now he goes to schools. Sorry,
Make sure he goes to Kells tonight. She got him.
Look, I'm not a spellcaster, so all I have to contribute here is memes.
So, you can tell that the Spire is in extreme pain after this happened to it. Like, it feels like it's physically vibrating in agony. It looks like it's in a bad state. Legacy looks at both of you. It says, I could probably finish this off using the donut, as Kika christened it. If you two want to back up.
Do you need just close by just in case?
If this goes up in my face, yes. Go about 30 back. Go back 30 back.
I was gonna say, if you disintegrate it right now, I can... But would we feel that we knocked down
you can
the
see
magic?
Actually, on the Spire at this point, hairline fractures. From this being drained in a way it's clearly not meant to be. It's struggling as it is. Like, it's there, but it's like vibrating. You can see that there's like energy within it as if it's about to out almost. But it's struggling at this point.
I was gonna say, at this point, I have the magic in me to immediately counterspell anything of 5th level.
Okay, boys.
We could have try counterspells.
You two work on the counterspell.
Yeah.
And she just like extends up that hand, and it just like it's almost like points at her fingers, just like extend, like fingers get longer and like nails get more gaunt, as like at the very center of her finger, like between all 5 points, including the thumb, there's just like a bead of red that just begins roiling in place, and she just aims it straight towards it. The Spire is struggling, and in this time she stops and thinks for a second. 19. It's actually going to try to resist her. Very high on it. Okay, so it actually does. You watch, she stops as if she's about to disintegrate and begins focusing on something else, and you can see that the Spire that is enwrapped, 2 bands of metal that are enwrapped, she begins trying to unwind it like it was done previously, and it's a fair point actually to weaken it. Begins struggling more and more and more, and you can just see it begins unwinding itself like it did when it was with you guys with the previous one that you had worked on. And she focuses then on it and casts Disintegrate. Now let's see if she actually does enough damage to it. You feel like, I will say this as well because of who you guys are, it does feel like you in the method that you did it, it feels like what you did in fact weaken its integrity overall. This is legacy, of course she is. I'm going to disintegrate at 9th. She would. Fuck. Okay. Fuck.
Yep. That's triple figures.
Yeah, that's triple figures.
Yeah.
So she blasts out and essentially begins unraveling, and the bead of energy like shoots out of it, and like this roiling trail of flame across the air. The unwrapping happens, and you could tell that there's a moment where it's trying to like a memory foam material try to wrap back into itself. The bead flies into it, and then she releases the other hand, and then it wraps around the bead, and from the center the disintegration hits. And I need dexterity saving throws from the three of you, but if you are going to use a counterspell here, Roman, you do it with disadvantage. You do dex with disadvantage.
No counterspell as well.
Then you'd both be doing it with disadvantage for your dex save. But Roman called that he was going to be doing it, and this is in the instant.
I mean, it's a reaction.
That's fine.
Could we? I didn't know right to because it was a reaction, not an action.
Counterspell is a reaction. She's like doing this. You guys are waiting for her to do this to see a spell to counter it. This is two things happening at once. He can either.
Yeah, that's fine. I will take a disadvantage. That's fine.
Roll with disadvantage, but you are going to attempt to counterspell. Okay.
2 seconds.
What do I get? I forget.
I keep checking my character sheet as if something's going to appear.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
I don't know what's on there.
Nope. Angry Paladin will have to do something else at a later stage.
How is dex save with my lowest save?
I mean, if this goes particularly badly, we might need you to.
Oh, so it's not the bottom, it's just normal.
Straight roll, that's fine. Legacy is also going to roll. What's her mods? Actually, that's also her lowest. So, yeah, she rolls a 5. Fine.
We've had enough of our good rolls.
Yes, I'm actually okay with this. Especially
yeah, I'm sure you are.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. How else am I meant to make you guys have, like, peril? Okay,
You don't. Our lives are very easy.
No, they're not. They were, but not anymore. Why is that?
Were they?
Well, they were for, like, a few years. You could take that. Okay, so, as it's there, because it's in this area, Roman, you cast Counterspell as a magic begins erupting from it, allowing you to disrupt what would have been probably some form of, like, area necromantic effect washing out, just gets washed in by, like, a tide of lightning blue energy just washing over it and denying it. However, all three of you do fail. So...
With a 19? Shit.
With a 19. This is not meant to be something that is meant to be handled.
This is what I think it is. This is bad.
Yeah, actually, I will need to roll this in Roll20 because I don't have this many dice.
Mm-hmm.
You take 48 points of psychic damage as when it erupts, that overwhelming wail washes over you guys, but you would think the psionic effect is going to hit your minds. Each individual shard of the spire shatters outward as it begins turning to ash. And even when they're like half disintegrating, and they are disintegrating as they hit you, so they're not lingering in your body, which you feel like it could probably do if it like sprayed over you. But you have now all of three of you have like holes across your face, across your torso, across your arms of darts jabbed into you, as if a dozen quills were just launched out of you, or an erupting fragmentation explosion just happened. Even you two who were 30 foot back, because you were still in the radius.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it is bad.
How are you doing on health?
I'm in
Like,
double digits.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying, like, basically, were you able to take that 48?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I go down and get back up.
Yeah,
Because I had
the book
20
goes off.
HP.
I was
I
gonna
had
say
20
you're at
HP,
20.
but I put my name in my own fucking book.
Why
So
did
my
you
gift
heal
to the
before we did
protectors
this?
goes off.
Oh, don't you talk to anyone about good decisions.
I healed before we did this.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have any potions.
Yeah, warlocks and sorcerers infamous for their healing capabilities.
Yeah.
You're talking to a wizard, guys. You're talking to a wizard.
Because I'm not
have a
outright
paladin.
killed. Yeah, because I'm not outright killed. I don't technically drop, but I do go just down to 1.
I'm sorry, but I have a very specific image of how Roman got back up. It was just sort of, and then not actually getting up properly, but sort of just hovering like that, and then just.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, basically, it's just Roman just like, we did it! Book kind of flies up, little hands pop out. Okay.
Dust him off slightly.
So guys, you are aware of like the rules of when someone dies, their DC for the resurrection goes up by 1. You did not die, Roman. Your DC has gone up by 1.
Yeah.
As has Varys's, and as Legacy has.
Ooh.
So your DCs for death have
Varys
gone
is up by 4 because it was. Well, no, because it goes up by 3 normally if you die.
I just go up by 1.
Oh, you just got up by 1. Okay. So yeah, yours is up by 2.
Legacy
so yours is
up by
12.
a few.
A number.
a not insignificant number.
No, Legacy stresses me every day.
Okay, so now I need 11 to 20s.
Yeah, you're 11. Case 12 are up. Legacy's like now 20 or something. I don't know.
Legacy is 16.
Yeah. DC 16, not 16.
DC 16. No. That would be very weird.
I am 50 years old.
In devil years.
She is in double digits of age. And she's fucking plus 16 to that. Okay. So, you guys detonate. That screaming wail erupts out, piercing into your minds and into the back of your brains. And like something about it does almost feel like it like nestles in you. And as that happens, the Spire points that for a brief second, whilst they were disintegrating, felt like they were trying to bore into your skin. Disintegrate off. You have destroyed the necromantic spire of the Kith on the material plane of Faerun.
Woo!
No more respawn, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's actually very important that we've done
that
this.
was a very important one to do.
Catch on, guys. Follow.
Why do you think there are so many walls with this one? Because I'm aware of that mechanic.
Right, who wants out of here before something turns up?
Let's go.
A teleportation circle as to any options? Anybody want to go? You know, Moongleam Tower, Neverwinter, Everland, Waterdeep, Gontal Grim can do all of those without any need for rolling.
We said we were meeting them in Neverwinter, right?
Waterdeep.
Like,
you want to go to
Did we
Waterdeep?
say?
Well, we were going to go
stop
get the other one,
somewhere.
weren't we?
Oh, the other north one.
So we may as well go to Neverwinter and then.
Well, I mean, if we're doing that,
wherever we go, we can have potentially have a rest and then carry on. Or
that's what I mean.
I've got the Moongleam Tower as one of the options.
Where is Moongleam right now?
We don't know.
Normally near Everland.
We do know. We've just been.
Oh yeah. We were there.
That's where was Moongleam.
We just.
That's where the fuck was Moongleam.
Well, the thing is, we went through the Everland portal.
Oh yeah, that's true. So
we don't know if we don't know physically if the tower was.
That's the teleportation to it. That's where you came out of. I have both Everland
and the Moongleam Tower itself.
We may as well just go to Neverwinter then.
Well, are we going to teleport after this, like in the morning, to go to wherever we're going?
Or we can take Haru.
Or we can take Huru.
Because we could go Neverwinter.
We're
We
going
could
north.
go. We're going to near Mirabelle, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh, what? What?
I was like, is it
What?
this one? Oh.
I'm just thinking, if we're going to then travel there the next day, is there anywhere near to Mirabelle we can go?
I mean, Gontal Grim is an option as well.
Gontal Grim is an option.
Gontal Grim is
We
also
have to
something.
tell
we-
They
we
said
could
my
go
house.
for that.
Dwarven cities do not have a teleportation circle.
No,
But I could
Gontal Grim, in my notes, I have a literal list of places that I can go to. Literally,
think it's
Gontal,
just
Gontal
outside.
Grim is the
It
exception.
is just outside.
It literally says Gontal Grim ruins 20 miles outside. It's
Yeah,
the
because
only
I
one
think
that
I've
has to
got
know.
that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys could come stay at ours.
I mean, I could just teleport us.
That's where we live.
I could just teleport us to their house. Oh, that's
True.
uh,
It's
Oh.
outside.
Yeah,
Just
it's outside
Gontal Grim.
Yeah, it's in Neverwinter Wood.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
that's
I
fine.
raised my hand to be like, should we leave before something comes here to find out what the heck that was?
Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say let's go ahead and do that. Go to Gontal Grim, stay at theirs for the night, and then head to Mirabar. Well, head to up north then.
To North.
Okay.
To the north.
Teleport
To
to
the
Gontal Grim
north.
Kirak.
or the
Begin
nearby
focusing on-
areas.
Yes. Yep. Kirak, you begin focusing on it. Boom, boom, boom. That effect just like begins washing out over everyone. A little bit of starlight into it all as well. Just boom. And in that moment, everyone, even though Faris, Kirak, you guys, Roman, you don't care. Glory and Ash, doesn't matter how many times.
Never used
Without
to
fail.
it. Never used to it.
Glory has to full on
I'm
Geralt.
gonna take a
and-
G.
Yeah, you have to full on Geralt and go, I have to sit the fuck down.
Yep.
Don't talk
That's
to me.
always been the case.
yeah, we're well practicing this, just sort of like patting her on the back.
Is
Don't like it. I don't like it.
It's like the fucking
experimental.
yeah.
I just hear the Final Fantasy debuff noise and the leaden.
Anyone know a sooner?
Legacy is a
Sooner.
Sidian. Legacy is a Sidian. They're just going,
we are
hey.
once again asking.
I'm once again asking for a sooner, please.
No, the one red mage you have here, she does not have a Zuna. Blown
damn
away.
it.
It's mine.
Oh fuck.
Growls in Paladin.
Paladin and warrior strongly disapproved.
Okay.
So you guys are there. You take your second. Glory eventually goes, oh, okay.
Alright. Okay.
Get yourselves up. And through Huru or otherwise, you begin making your way to Gontal Grim. You guys process over.
Wait. Random thing, because we are at the house, right?
We're
You're
near the
getting
house.
We're near
out
the
of
house.
house.
We're
You're
walking
getting-
the
back in.
house.
It's a
Okay.
20-mile distance, but you have Huru.
Wait, 20 miles to Gauntlet Grim. We don't live in Gauntlet Grim, right? We
No, I
live
thought you did.
outside. No, we live outside Gauntlet Grim.
I remember you saying that we lived outside Gauntlet Grim. The
Yeah,
thing that
you
I
live
was
outside
going
Gauntlet Grim,
to,
Yeah.
the thing that I was going to check was actually checking up on Gwyn.
So you guys make your way towards your home, your residence, and you guys begin flying over as you're there and flying in, and it's somewhat kind of in the morning ish because you guys did all this in the morning for yourselves. As you're there flying over, it doesn't take you long to get to your house. It's a relatively larger establishment because you're very aware of how many people you have to have constantly, and you can just see as you guys are there and Huru begins doing like the passes to begin getting ready to land, you can just mom instincts take over and you can see, while you cannot see whose, you could see there are several people all vacating your premises very quickly, as well as several of them with bags which are definitely jingling with empty bottles.
At least they're taking the trash.
Yeah, at least they're cleaning up.
And you hear very loudly shouting from inside, I told you to fuck off 2 days ago! I knew they'd be back! What are you doing? Go, go, go! And she's like outside, just like a massive mess of red hair. Bags under the eyes of, I have not slept, but it is of a, this is somebody who's been partying and not slept. And as you guys begin landing down there to where you are, you can just see, just like fixing herself, trying to like fix the hair, just like leaning, slipping, leaning on the.
Mom's back. Moms are back. Fuck.
Go red. It's like, hi. I know you'd be okay. And like, you have your scalding, you have your moment, you have your. And it is then resolved that while you guys do what you want to do, Gwyn is put to task to clean the fuck up. So that's what Gwyn is. Gwyn is well. Gwyn is fine. That's what she's doing while you guys are here and resting.
No, all I had was Ashka's just very, very stern, sort of unmoving frown, sort of glare.
She's just like leaning in, like hands behind the back with like a smile of like an innocent child, like, hi mom, I haven't done nothing.
But she doesn't.
She has to lean down.
She doesn't say anything. Just sort of has a very side glance to Glory. Still.
Glory looks done. Like she's already done.
You gotta remember, this is who Glory was as a teenager. So, this turn of events does not surprise Glory in any way.
You just hear in the background, it's like a mirror, but with more red hair.
Be right back.
I punched my mom lightly on the arm. I said lightly.
I know you said lightly for you and lightly for her.
Ashka will just approach with the expression on her face like she's going to explode, but all she does is that she approaches Gwyn and just hugs.
But also, you are strong, mom. So it is like, oh, it's a hug. You cannot escape.
But she hugs
around you. Then she wraps around you. Then just like when you do it, she does.
She hugs, but then after the hug, goes immediately. We're gonna have a talk about this when we get back.
There's something to talk about.
We are going to have a talk about this when we get back.
Mom, help!
I can't save you.
Auntie, help! She's like, Roman, help! It's your supply! I'm going down with you, fucker!
And Turk in the back with a very assertive snort.
Poor Turk. Turk goes back around and you hear rustling, and Turk is immediately drinking something. A bottle is
No,
Turk. Frau, get over here. Don't encourage her. Get right back here.
Turk is getting turned.
While there's a brief moment of no, stop the pig from drinking, Kirok does sort of be like, back door's open.
He's gone. He is gone. She is gone.
Hang on, I've got a telepathic link here. You don't want to be drinking when you got a telepathic link, my god.
You have a telepathic link. You registered. What character did you register about the boy getting drunk and all this? But you went to stop your pig. You were outside of your melee risk distance to use an attack of opportunity to grab your child. She is gone.
I have Sentinel, but I don't.
Kirok just smiles.
Please don't Sentinel your child. That's like a clothesline.
Ooh, that'd be like running into a brick wall.
You literally just said I don't.
I know you don't, but that's why I'm like, oh, if you did, that would hurt.
Oh, God, no!
She is gone. There is a half-cooked, like, roast bit of lamb she has. It is gone with her.
Of course.
I'll be back in a week when you're not mad at me. Bye! I love you! So she is fine, she is well, and she loves you both, but she likes it.
She's in trouble.
I a wisdom score than her mother.
Get out of town with the 5-star rating drop.
She's in trouble.
I'm going to have a nap. If anyone interferes, I will kill them.
Valid.
Yeah, I could do with a rest.
But before you're sleeping, you're sending messages.
What?
We have to
You
let
hear
people,
the...
We have to let people know that we've destroyed one.
Okay, I mean, I've already told the kids. Did that on the way.
And?
What? I told Messy Necrum.
Okay.
And they said, okay.
Okay. And Legacy, I assume you've already...
Sildar knows.
Okay. There we go. Okay, now we can go to sleep.
Glory's literally on the sofa, just like... like peak dad energy of just like, my feet are up on the coffee table and I am asleep.
Someone goes to change the channel and it's like, I'm watching that. That's the power of Sentinel. I was watching
Meanwhile, I can imagine Ashka, the expression has not changed, but she's checking on all the potted plants.
The potted plants are very well taken care of.
There is more plants in this house than any furniture.
As it should be.
Well,
I have no say in this.
Well, as I said, it's probably just one very large room, knowing Ashka, because of her claustrophobia. So it'll just be... Yeah, so it'll probably just be one big... you know those really, really expensive villas in the US? Where it's just like one big, huge kitchen, living room situation, big L-shaped sofa.
Oh, they 100% built this themselves.
Yeah.
Glory and Ashka 100% built this place.
They refused help from the mazes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They were like, no, this is our project. Fuck off.
Yeah.
One of them did it while they were pregnant. So you guys are there. You send out your sendings.
Rest,
you do your check-ins, and you guys can begin having a long rest. And while you guys begin having a long rest, we're gonna take a break.
Yeah.
Dope. We shall be back momentarily, guys.
welcome back. We have had food, toast, and otherwise.
I'm so happy.
Me? Erwin is still working. He does not have to rush his food. I don't want my boy having heartburn. Anyway,
Oh, no.
you guys all begin going to rest in your varying ways and your different avenues. As you guys are there, resting or preparing to rest as well, for some of you, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, my phone began trying to play something from someone's playlist. I'm like, no, stop that.
Oh yeah, Varus Roman, a unicorn appears and then shortly disappears.
Gwyn rides away on his back.
Don't worry about it.
Huh?
Kirok.
Wild magic. Anyway.
Yeah.
I really wish one day for Poe to see this, because then Poe will be like, that's why she's unfazed. Shit like this can happen. As you guys are there, and it is still in the morning. It's for you guys it is, but you're kind of like resting. It's probably now about mid-afternoon, but later. Like, it's not nighttime yet. You spent some time at the Spire, but you guys got up in the morning, smashed Alto, did that. It took about an hour to get rid of the Spire. One of the most important artifacts in the world. You take it out in about an hour. And then you go home for like a late dinner, essentially. Whatever is left.
Brunch.
Yeah. A rinner. Begin all like trying to rest. And Kirok, you're out. You just watch Gwyn running off to the distance. And as you're there, you feel a familiar presence kind of lingering to your back, and it's you turn around to see a figure you have seen before. It's a hooded figure in red on a red horse, with a flail to the side which has sparks and flames. This is the second son of Auntie.
Yeah, she literally seeing him is just like, good afternoon, Fair Knight.
I wish it was a good afternoon.
Oh no.
Things have become complicated into the Feywild. She's indisposed at present due to her cycle. She got Solomon Grundy. She does a weekly. For those who are giggling for being terrible people, because you're animals. Anyway.
You guys are awful.
No, I was going to say mood.
You're fine. Kay was giggling. I'll call Kay out.
No, I was also giggling.
We were giggling for the same reason. She just said it.
She's allowed to. She suffers. She's allowed to. You're not. Shut up. Anyway.
What happened?
Nothing.
Well, moving on.
Don't worry about it. You keep eating.
You know what you're thinking, and that's why you're eating, madam.
So, because these people are children, the Feywild is in a place of... There is always the chaos of the Feywild, but there's orderly chaos. Its rules are in place to regulate the chaos, to handle the insensibilities of the sensible, and the vice versa, the sensibilities of the insensible. But the Lady in Red's position in court is on a decline. People are speaking ill due to the fact she could not even keep her own child safe but a few feet from her. She could not do that. They are making accusations, and I believe one particular person is making moves at her position. She asked me to tell Kika. I'm not telling Kika.
while that decision is in the right, I'm sure you feel you are doing the right thing, but given very recent developments that have happened with both me and my daughter, I think she has earned. You should tell her. It is not going to be easy, but it seems that she cannot be sheltered from everything forever.
It was less of a sheltering matter, ma'am, or a matter of unworthiness. Never with her ever would that be the case. This is your child has her own tasks ahead of her, and she's, from what I understand, on your plane, occupied. I did not wish to, knowing you were back, I did not wish to impose upon her anything without first, at the very least, checking to see if she was comfortable to do so. My presence would make her nervous because I very rarely appear unless something is going on that is of a dire matter.
I see. Yes. It's very kind of you to do so. Well, I asked for them to check in on her. You can't deny that I'm worried about what is happening over there.
Buffalo's was gone with the other, who would be called princes. He served as an anchor for her, not just for here, but over as well. Her power is lessened, and her ties to the air courts are through Samoshi. Without him, they're not willing to fully invest in her for fear of starting a planar war. But mortals often get into the affairs of everyone.
We're very good at doing that.
You are remarkably good at that. When you need something disrupted, you go to the experts. I'm worried for my mother.
As a good son should be.
This might be her last cycle, if the efforts of Tanya are permitted. I've had to regrow several times in the mornings and in the evenings at the dawns. Tanya has new, not subjects. Playthings is not even an accurate term. Tools. Large, hulking, dangerous things that when craftiness and cunning are not sufficient, their danger is for some. I have asked my brother, but he is guarding the sticks. My little brother is focused on the cycle of day. He cannot, after taking over for Black, he had to do both dawn and dusk, bringing the morning and bringing the night. I'm all that she has right now. Come asking for help.
I certainly see why. Because you know full well what we are trying to do here.
I do. I am just... I do not know what her machinations will lead to, if she intends to rule the court, if she intends to go beyond or beneath that, subvert it or circumvent it in some ways. And while he's talking, the hood is over, so there is no silhouette of a face. You just, like, it is just red on the inside of the hood. Like, it's just that, like, just how it's nothing but pure white or pure black. This is just red on the interior. They're just... I did not know who else to turn to.
I certainly will try to help him best I can. You understand, I am also in an awkward position for this. It's not as though I can just, as much as we have done in the past, I can't just outrightly go there and attack her now.
Do not even believe that would be the best course of action with what she has with her.
Let alone the implications that would have with our ties to the airplane as well.
If nothing else, this is a warning. The things are occurring on the other planes. I know from Styx that the Hells have been challenged by the heavens, believed that they were responsible for abductions.
We heard wind of this.
Order and chaos are struggling against each other. It is a time of uncertainty, and if nothing else, you at least are now aware of it.
I very much thank you for this. I would not know where to begin.
She would know what would be her best course, if even for her renewal she were guarded potentially for the period. I am that concerned that I would not be able to warden for her alone. If her renewal returns, I may reach out to Kika to ask for help.
I believe you should, actually.
I just did not want to... You are still her mother. I did not wish to circumvent you in this matter. She is her own person, but...
I thank you very much in this regard. No, I think you definitely should contact her. And she has a friend with her as well, which is also key in this. In fact, he's probably going to be very crucial in this.
Yes.
You do well not to forgo him either.
The affectionate jester, to my understanding.
Oh, he's more than that.
That was not the title my mother gave him. That's the title he had. He has yet to get a new one, but I hope he does. I will not take more of your time, ma'am.
You've done well to coming here. I thank you.
And he looks past you to hearing a fata fita fata in the distance as this big mane of red hair pulls herself up after the unicorn disappeared under her, and she literally George is jungled into a tree. Just I think I will leave you with this for the night.
Go now and speak to her as soon as you can.
He bows low, turns, and jumps straight into a tree, and is gone.
Always like that boy.
So you return back to the
just
house.
Turn around and walk back inside.
You walk back inside. As you walk back inside, you hear just...
Heck, not a good angle.
Nick, she is like a dog on the couch, where it's like, that head should not be leaning there, but it's
There's just holes in the top of the sofa where her horns are. She's letting her head back and punch into the sofa.
Oh, God.
These are pre-made holes. They are slotted in positions. There's several pre-made ones there for her to just like get her head fitted.
I'm imagining just kind of the turtleneck kind of thing of it just slots in just
Reverse turtleneck, but it's like airplane.
Mind you,
Like
when baby goats are being naughty, they put pool noodles over their horns.
Yeah. This is as close to that as Gloria was willing to get.
Kirok goes over to sit down and cuddle up with Tian, and she flicks open her spellbook and is starting to sort of make notes and sort of cross-reference things and just make general notes of like all of her plane of knowledge, which is a lot, and is just sort of generally trying to correlate things.
Yeah. You're just getting that sorted out, and you're just preparing your correlations. Is there anything else anyone else wants to do in this time?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
See you, I see like two arcane voices go. It's like, one fear.
I mean, I don't have to sleep, so I'm just gonna be reading from the book.
Yeah.
Raiding our fridge.
I did want to. The way I'll do it is, if how long have we got long rest wise? Like, have I got 6 hours to do something? If I take longer than the long rest, but then still get a long rest.
No, like you would like essentially you need to have like 4 hours of like relaxed time.
Yeah, but can I take longer?
Like if you were like let it sort of like go over further into the thing, you could, yes.
So like spend 6 hours doing something and then 4 hours long rest. Well, if it's like afternoon, so it's 10 hours.
It might be 6 hours. Hold on. I forget how this class works.
What are you trying to make?
Trying to get a new spell.
Wizard.
Oh, it's in this big green sidebar, not in the actual text.
You're trying to copy a spell?
Yeah. Oh no, it's 2 hours.
You don't have to do it in like the whole thing. Yeah. You don't have to do it in the whole thing. Like you do bits and bits and bits and bits and eventually get there.
I'll spend 6 hours. I'll teleport to. They've got more in the library. Never went there, haven't they? The library never went in there and get fucked, did it?
No, it's kind of out of the way from the central town. It was more made on the outskirts of it, or not on the outskirts, but within the wall, but away from the hot spots.
I'll teleportation circle to Neverwinter before the long rest. Spend 6 hours in the library, teleport back, take the long rest. So I'll probably gonna sleep in a little bit.
Okay.
That's fine. If it's like 3 p.m. ish, like 10 hours would be 1 a.m.
Yeah, I basically.
So like, if we get up at normal time tomorrow, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm copying half of Disintegrate into my. If I'm assuming the ability to copy Disintegrate is in Neverwinter. I know you said before.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll do half.
It would be for an average adventurer. It would be checks to get in, like discussions on prize. You are the Archmage invocation. You walk and go, "Hi, taking that one. Cheers, let's." Like someone who like the company has like a tab at a place. You just walk in, get something, and go put it on the tab. You're just gone.
You're not getting none.
Boko wants food.
Father, give me.
Look at the baby.
You're not getting any. So stop. It's all gone.
Baby.
Why are you cruel to Coco?
Give the baby.
Father, let me consume.
It's all gone. I've eaten it all.
Aww.
Go.
Oh.
There's nothing left.
The head of it.
He's like, let me check.
I gotta be sure. I don't trust your words.
Where is it?
I don't believe you.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, the baby.
Just seeing her eyes keep appearing, she jumps up. It's so funny. So eyes reflecting the monitor light.
Dog serotonin, very necessary.
Oh boy! All right,
we sleep.
It's all going. So stop.
Yeah. You guys manage to go to your sleeps. You finish your long rests. As you guys are there and you're having your discussions, you're in the mornings. Legacy departs back to Neverwinter. She wants to check in on her boy, check in on Sildar.
I'll give her the rundown of like, this is what we're gonna do. You don't have to come with us. Like you go be with my brother. We'll be fine. But this is where we're going.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably be heading to Waterdeep to meet up with the kids.
Is that
I thought we were
going to
going
be the name of the party, like unofficially just the kids?
to this party, yes.
To this party, that's what they're called.
I thought you said we were going to go north.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
After we're going north, we're going to meet them.
Because we'll probably get this done today.
Yeah.
So it's like, potentially we'll get this done today. So it's like, we're going to go here and then go there.
In the time that it's taken the kids to track down one, we have tracked down one, destroy it, and moved on to the next one.
That's what happens when you have 9th level spells just cash.
Yeah.
They don't have that shit.
Yeah.
No.
True. All right.
So you guys...
We're nearly max level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
I keep
have this
reading.
conversation, and you guys go, okay, you're going to prep. You're going to go to around the area of Mirabar. Close to it is where the Spire is.
Yes.
Okay.
We will have to spend a decent amount of time traveling on Huru because it is a bit of a distance. But I'm pretty sure he can do it.
Have we been to Mirabar before?
You have, yes. That's where Cloth first revealed how much you do not fuck with Cloth.
Right, is that the wait, is Mirabar the village that was the Tithe?
Yes.
The Tithe came from Mirabar.
Jesus. It's a throwback.
Is that still getting paid?
Because...
No, that got resolved.
we sorted that.
We sorted that.
You guys got Zalto, or you got from
rings.
Sansuri's Ring of Regeneration for Cloth. Cloth has that now.
Up there on the top.
Do we want to quick? Can we get to Mirabar with a day on her?
Pretty sure, yeah. Where is the stick?
Well, her has a different stick to the whale, though.
Yes, there is a different stick to whale. I'd actually have to check again for the item to make sure. Give me a second, guys.
Let's double check the feather token.
I feel like it's either 120 or 240.
It's 100. Huru has 144.
Huru has 144.
So yeah.
So yes, we can get to Mirabar.
We'll get us to Mirabar.
Yeah. So we can either teleport to try teleporting to Mirabar and then Huru the rest of the way, or Huru and then go on foot.
Yeah, it's really just a case of do you want to arrive in the evening or now?
There's no teleport circles anywhere near there, is there?
There isn't, so we would have to do the roll for it.
Yes, you would.
Really want
we've been there.
Actually, you've been.
We
there
have
before,
been. We have been there before, so the DC will be very low.
Yeah, like literally.
It'll be like an 18 or lower. It'll be
yeah.
On a D100.
Because we're what? Are we very familiar? Yeah.
We spend a decent amount of time there.
Yeah, you're very.
Yeah, so it's like 25 to 100 is do it there. But it is also a big spell slot. Well, we could just get there, so.
So is Lexi already gone?
Your mom's gone.
Damn it.
She's like, bye.
Don't want to burn a bunch of spell slots to give us a lift. Yeah, figured.
Walk, motherfucker.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. I'm a 19th level character at this point. I should be able to walk somewhere.
Yeah, the babies were like, we have to get to the other side of the world. Well, I mean, I'm gonna help the babies. You motherfuckers, you don't get that right. Walk.
Can we cheese it with plane shift?
No, it's not worth.
Plane shift is much more.
The amount of attention that we attract with plane shift, I'd rather.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, by the way, as we're like having like, you know, morning coffee and all this, Kira casually floats a book up to the table and is like, by the way, guys, we were given a brief summary by the kids, but dear God, the planes are in absolute disarray right now. There is stuff going down. The heavens and the
Oh,
hells
good.
are going for each other.
Oh,
The Feywild is in absolute turmoil. The plane of air is unwilling to commit because Samoshi is missing. Everything is going awful right now. A plane shift is probably not a good idea.
I mean,
When your
Okay.
DM winces, when you suggest it.
I mean,
Let's
if
just.
you don't want to do it, we don't have to.
How long in walking would it take us to get from Mirabar to where the Spire was last spotted?
The rest of your day, probably.
Let's see, 70 miles.
Like
5
for you guys with some of
travel
your tricks
calculator.
and with you guys with your tricks and trades, you'd probably like take a day and a bit, probably maybe more.
Yeah, because it's normal pace.
So I can go back to
24.
Neverwinter and finish my spell.
You could do it on Haru's back.
Oh, that's
'Cause I
true. I
bet
could.
you like when I say you could have done this. Okay, I mean like that you literally could have taken the book with Disintegrate in it for copy and walked out with it. Like,
Oh, okay.
personally,
Yeah. Sure.
Personally, no one in the city could have or would have stopped you.
Well, then, how about this? We take her to Mirabar.
Mhm.
We assess the situation in Mirabar. If it's pretty calm, we can choose whether or not. If we don't hear anything bad about the road, we can choose to either rest in Mirabar and then head out tomorrow and do the whole thing in one day, or we try and chunk out how much we need and then camp.
It could be worth getting information.
Especially because we don't know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Does who have a stat block?
He has,
Oh,
he has the stat block of a rock.
Has who got a different challenge rating though, or is who technically the same
It
challenge
technically
rating?
it has the stats.
He's
It has
technically
the,
non-common,
it has the
but-
stats of a rock, but it doesn't attack.
It
So he
cannot
doesn't
attack.
technically have a CR.
So essentially, Huro has before, for example, in combat, taken hits for people and like taken when you guys have been on approach, for example, has taken hits for people. But if Huro drops, that's Huro gone for the day.
No,
Huro
I
cannot
get
fight
that,
back.
but who is technically a creature when in
Yes,
When he's in
absolutely.
bird
not-
form, yeah.
Yes.
if
Are we going the same way?
Are you
if
gonna haste
for
Huro?
if hyper no if no
That's
no
what
no
I was gonna say.
that's no what I was going to think. Hypothet no, we've done that
Well,
before. That was dangerous for us. I'll do
No,
it.
well, it's fine, but we'll get there.
It's much cheaper than what I was thinking of doing. Was if Huru technically had a CR, would it be 19 or lower?
They're a rock.
I mean, I
so
guess whatever a rock statistics is, it says in the spell the bird has the statistics of a rock. Technically,
What I'm asking-
technically the
Answer
statistics
this.
of a rock does include
Give
its
me a
CR.
moment, guys. I will
What
check.
what I'm asking, that's to be clearer.
yes,
Can I
CR
shape
11.
change? Can I shape change into Huru?
You could shape change into a rock.
But into Huru.
Because Huru is faster than the average rock.
Well, you wouldn't need to be Haru speed though if we got most of the way there.
No, I
You would
know,
just have to be fast.
This
which
is
a
I
rock
mean
is.
I haven't prepared it, but this is a hypothetical. Sorry.
Yes. You
It's-
could shape change into a creature. I'm not going to say, like, for example, if you know that a creature has like a condition or something, you couldn't shape change into them to see what the condition is, examine them, for example. You can't turn to a specific one, you can turn to a generic. You can turn into one inspired by and look like them. Absolutely. You can make a mimic of it, but you cannot take the. I'm not going to let you have this.
Yeah, no,
I
yeah.
mean,
It specifically says
yeah.
you transform into an average example of that creature.
I was going to say,
So,
theoretically, we've
probably.
seen actual rocks because of all our dealings with giants
guys.
after the
Okay.
occurrence.
Yeah,
thing,
it still
because
has 120-foot fly speed
'cause-
normally.
Rocks
But-
are giants'
I was
chosen
gonna
mounts,
say-
so after
Yes.
all of the business with Inwith, when we were doing all the political stuff, we probably saw quite a few of them.
Yes.
Again, I've already shown that I have this as well. I could literally find us a boulder, true polymorph it into a creature that can take us, and then just fucking.
It's true. I think
I'm
we're,
So,
I think
I'm
that's
just
a-
saying.
I think we are
Both of these are
overcomplicating.
bigger spell slots than haste.
Haste only lasts a
Not,
Haste
minute.
only
not,
lasts
the
an
only
hour.
thing
Yeah,
is,
but then,
Not
No.
a
but
minute.
how
Minute.
how
Here-
far
here's
more
your
do we need
things.
it to go?
This is Hiru's travel for the day is 140. So even though we can do it, that is almost
That's
the
8
entire
hours.
that is almost the entire day spent getting to Mirabar.
And that's 8 hours of travel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, if you rested like after it, you could immediately do whatever
Yeah.
the fuck
Yeah.
you want with Huro after that. I'm gonna say, guys, are you going to get on that bird and go because we're getting close to a point where I want to leave it?
Yeah, that's just fly. That's fly to
Yeah,
Mirror.
because I think regardless, we're going to Mirabar. So
Okay.
like,
yeah, we're going
we
to
get
the
to
bar.
get on Hero and fly to Mirabar.
Huro,
go to Mirabar.
gone. As you
Good.
guys are going, you finish off Disintegrate. Roman.
Because the reason I was saying is, not only can I do true polymorph, if it lasts for an hour, we then have another creature.
It's just the spell slot size. It was all,
Yeah.
the only thing. But it's fine. We're going to Mirror Bar.
You're good.
Let's get there
It is.
first.
True polymorph is still an incredibly useful
We
spell.
might get
I'd
to
say
Mirror
keep
Bar
Mirror
and find that the entire town has been decimated by something Spire infused. So.
Yeah, let's
Hey,
So as you guys
what's
fly
up?
to Mirror Bar,
it's the closest civilization to where it was last noted, and like all of these
Guys,
points that we have marked.
Let us narrate. Because I
Sorry.
think it's about to change what our plan is.
Sorry.
as you guys are flying towards Mirror Bar, Varus, you finish up Disintegrate. You're doing it on the back of the bird, so it takes a little longer, but you're also Varus, you're used to this. You guys continue going to Mirror Bar, and you remember how it was. You remember quite enough, simple enough town. You remember criminals being hung for acts upon the long road. You remember Durin Ashbrand, now Durin Frostbrand, focusing on a scrying spell and drawing the ire of cloth. You remember Zero Little calling cloth a bitch. And as you crest over the horizon towards it, you guys see in the distance smoke rising from Mirror Bar. And as you're there, you're maybe half a mile away, looking over and just seeing this great, terrible shadow in the city, wings stretched out, and then one titanic eruption, and the entire city is engulfed in a column of flame, out of which flies the titanic form of Cloth, returning to his veil. And that's where we're going to end the session.
Piss.
Damn it.
I have thought. I bet it's the thought that Kay just DM'd me. Oh no, it's we are on different paths.
We'll see you next week, guys.
Take care.